Now the default gateway IP address can be assigned to the port fast Ethernet 0/0. So router 2 can be connected to switch 2 through that port fast Ethernet 0/0. So in this port we can assign that IP address default gateway IP address. Go to the global mode. In global mode we can go to that particular interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Now we can assign the IP address IP space address 192.168.102.1. subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Now we can assign the IP address to that interface. Now we can enable that interface using the command no shutdown exit. Okay, now we can assign the IP address to LAN 4 network. So the net ID is 192.168.103.0/24. Now we can go to that particular PC and assign the IP address 192.168.103.2. One can be taken as default gateway. Subnet mask is 24. Default gateway is 192.168.103.1. The default gateway IP address is common for all the PC in the LAN 4 network. 192.168.103.3. subnet mask is 24. Default gateway is 192.168.103.1. Now we can assign the default gateway IP address to router 3 can be connected to switch 3 through the port fast Ethernet 0/0. So in this port we can assign the default gateway IP address. We can go to that particular router R3. So we can go to the global mode. In global mode we can go to that particular interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Now we can assign the IP address IP space address 192.168.103.1. subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So now we can assign the IP address to that interface. Now we can enable that interface using the command no shutdown exit. Okay, now we can assign the IP address to all the local area networks. Now we can assign the IP address to WAN network. So first of all, in WAN network, by default the default WAN protocol is HDLC. So here we can configure the dynamic frame relay. So the frame relay is a layer 2 WAN protocol. Now we can change the default HDLC protocol into frame relay protocol. So we can go to that particular interface serial 0/0/0. Before that we can see do show interface serial 0/0/0. Here we can see encapsulation HDLC. So encapsulation HDLC means HDLC is a default WAN protocol. Now we can change the default WAN protocol HDLC into frame relay. So we can go to that particular interface. So the syntax for changing the default WAN HDLC protocol into frame relay is encapsulation frame relay. Enter. Now we can default WAN protocol HDLC can be changed into frame relay. We can check do show interface serial 0/0/0. Yeah, here we can see encapsulation frame relay. Now the WAN protocol is frame relay. Default WAN protocol HDLC can be changed into frame relay. Okay, exit. So in serial interface we can create the sub interface. So we can go to that particular interface serial 0/0/0. give no shutdown exit. Now we can create the sub interface serial 0/0/0.1. Here we can give the point to point connection. Point to point means so head office can be connected to branch office using the separate IP address, and head office can be connected to the branch office using separate IP address. So that's why only we can give point to point. Here we can assign the IP address IP space address. So the serial 0/0/0.1 net ID is 200.200.200.0. So now we can assign the IP address 200.200.200.1. subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. no shutdown. So frame relay is a collection of DCE ends. So all these routers are connected in DTE ends. So here we can apply the bandwidth. So bandwidth we can use up to 1 to 10 lakhs here we can use the default, by default we can use 64, so bandwidth 64, enter. Now we can go to that R1 router. Here also the default WAN protocol is HDLC, so first of all we can change the default HDLC protocol into frame relay. So interface serial 0/0/0, so we can check do show int serial 0/0/0, yeah, encapsulation HDLC, that can be changed into frame relay. So the syntax for changing the default WAN HDLC protocol into frame relay is encapsulation frame relay. Now we can change that WAN protocol HDLC into frame relay. Now we can assign the IP address, IP space address 200.200.200.2. so subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. no shutdown. Here we can give the bandwidth, by default I will give 64. Okay, now again I will create the another sub interface for branch office 2. so interface serial 0/0/0.2. so interface serial 0/0/0.2, here we can mention point to point. Okay, now we can assign the IP address